Hello and welcome to the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. My view of humanity is a whole new tea. Okay, yeah, let's grab some petty tea, all of my royalty. Let's go, let's talk, let's dish. Ah, And it's really crazy because, okay, first, I have to say hello to the wonderful, beautiful, amazing, brilliant, intelligent. I know both of those, yeah, but anyway just outstanding 92%. And if you know what I'm talking about with the 92%, that means you are probably part of that 92%. The African American women that voted correctly, the 92% that wanted to have a happier, better society, a better middle class, and possibly tax the rich. I don't know if that was exactly in our platform, but we would have as a group of women, as women of color, as women, period, we know the need for that. And a lot of us are more progressive and a lot of us have learned from the dangers of the male dominance and the power that they are trying to take upon us. But yeah, and okay, well, let's just say I'm going to talk more about that. But if you're brand new, hi, hello. Just know that I have over 450 episodes. And I talk about dating, especially dating nightmares. I talk about my disability, especially how doctors blamed me for over 30 years, telling me to the point where I mentally I'm still trying to get over the mental ABUSC and the physical ABUSC, that the pain was in my head. I was a liar. I was making it up, and I just wanted attention apart from my perfect sister and everything like that. Yeah, all of that kind of stuff. I have so many more stories to tell about that, but yeah, but it's like each time I do that, it does kind of I need a little bit. And since my novels, oh yeah, I'm an author. At the end of each episode, you see the front covers of a lot of my books. But yeah, I realize, yeah, two of the books still aren't out that let's just say I'm saving up money so that because I'm trying to find a company that I can do mass productions and everything that's apart from Amazon and stuff. Because I didn't want to do I already told the story about why last minute I just loaded up my books, and I'll retell. Actually, I haven't told the full story. So yeah, that's on my to-do list. So I will get to that because yeah, it's like even though so my degrees and everything is in business and stuff like that, I since actually kind of two, but one doctor specifically told me you might have cancer, you might be dying. I was like, oh heck no, before I leave this earth I will be an author. And so yeah, if you haven't heard from about me, that's one reason why. If you haven't heard about my books, it's because I was just loading and trying to get my books out there, or the books that I already had majority finished. I was just like boom, boom, boom. So but yeah, I'm gonna tell the whole story because there's so much more to that. But you also know why it took so long for me to even start the process of getting into publishing and everything, and why I have 20 or 30 books in notebooks that now I have to go through not rewrite, but kind of emphasize, and kind of since my writing has improved over so many years. But blah 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 blah, let's get into the dish and everything like that. And I think one reason I thought about talking about all of that, since the 92% with black women, a lot of people want to put us down or say we're not that smart or that bright, and they want to say that there's no need for DEI, and that we're the racists and everything, and that there's not white privilege but black privilege, and the racism is real. And from my very first episode, my intro, because I didn't want anyone to kind of mistake me for which side of the aisle I'm in when it comes to politics. Because yeah, by now, if you've watched every episode, you know now I'm as woke as ever. It's like even when I'm asleep, my mind is woke. I'm aware, and I'm always ready to study and learn and embrace things. And especially since I grew up in the church, and for years they were trying to, like, the brainwashing during that, it didn't make sense to me. It didn't feel right to me. And so now it's like, especially like, well, during college, it was kind of, well, actually no, it was in high school with one of my favorite teachers. And oh my gosh, actually today is her birthday too. And I made sure I told her happy birthday, of course, because she is my favorite. But yeah, it's like I was being able to ask her questions, and especially as since she is a white woman, and I've told the story about how she was the only teacher in the school where who they would give us books by authors that weren't by white people. And it's like there was one, or this teacher I had for advanced English, he was a nightmare, awful, terrible, like in my opinion, he's an absolute, like, just terrible human being. But like most of the other English teachers at the school, every book was written by a white person. And I just remember going to her one day, and I'm just like, how come you're the only teacher that teaches books by non-white authors? And I was like, I was getting emotional because like almost every book that had a black character in it, they were a slave or something terrible or whatever. And I just remember she kind of looked at me with a smile, and she was just like, trust me, follow me. And she took me to a room with where all of the books were, and there were so many books by other, like, Native American and African, and just authors who I've never even seen before. It was beautiful, it was amazing. And I was like, why don't any of them teach from these? And she looked at me, she was like, honey, because they're white. And I was just like, yeah, okay, yeah. It's like, especially now, I'm like, okay, yeah, duh, I know why. But there's not that many people like her. And she doesn't know how much she helped me, especially even with my writing. And there's going to be a character dedicated and named after her too, so I'm really, really excited about that. And it's like I was gonna, like, just hint to her, write to her, but I think she'll really love the character that I have for her. But when, but yeah, it's kind of an introduction, but I know it doesn't sound like it, but we need representation more than ever now. And a lot of people always see us as the side characters. They always want to see us as the helpers, or the people on the side, or the people that will assist white people level up. And because we have to remember our history, especially women, remember, it's like, okay, with my European women, my European American women, my pale women, the ones that go and get suntans and things, or they go tanning and stuff like that. Yeah, they weren't born with it like we were. Yeah, okay, when your ancestors were fighting for your right to vote and stuff, and you were asking for black women's, like, help or whatever, and then once you got that right to vote, you gave us the middle finger and told us screw us, and we didn't care about us anymore, and you left us to the side because at first you guys said, oh, we're in this together, yes, women, and but then, yeah, you guys used us. Yeah, it's like we're kind of feeling like that right now, especially like we're talking about a president that's in the White House right now who said, I'm going to protect women if they like it or not. I said, I can't quote him, but he said, like, basically, it was cringy. It was awful. It was terrible. But then I kept hearing, like, whenever I would do the streaming on the Scout or Meet Me app or whatever, it was crazy because I would stream, and then certain well, MAGA white women would get on, and they were like, "Oh, he's gonna protect us. You don't trust him. I trust him. See, that's why you're very ignorant when it comes to him. He's just and it was just so disgusting. I was just like, are you serious? The same man who said he's gonna grab you by the what? You think he's gonna protect you?" And then how many charges did he get found like liable and guilty? Like, come on, what? You think? And then all these pageants and stuff we keep hearing, and then he's walking in rooms with women that are half nude and things, and he's smiling and bragging about it, and you say, what? And then what he said on The View about his daughter and the Wendy Williams show. What? Well, he said he was going to protect the women, right? Yeah, we knew not to believe him. But then also when it comes to race, when it comes to black people, black MAGA, what in the world? Like, what is it going to take for you guys to finally wake up? I don't know if you took NyQuil. I don't know if you took Indica. I don't know what you did, baby. I don't know what kind of sheep you counting. It's like you guys are counting some of those good sheep, those delirious, awful, terrible sheep. The ones that it's like I don't even know. I can't even explain. It's really bad over here because it's like on two or three different videos. One of them, it was an interview on, I believe it was CNN, but there was a group of black MAGAs being interviewed and talking, whatever. And the one black guy, oh, he was getting on my nerves too. And then one of the ladies, she was like, her husband's a police officer. It was just like, good for you. Yeah. Yeah. What? You know, police officers in America, the originals were called slave catchers, right? Just so you know. Because, yeah, I don't know. Everything kind of fit together with why they're Black MAGA. But with the guy, he was like, I'm protecting my daughters. I'm doing this for my daughters. And then I believe the guy's like some L Disney, or I forgot it. Like I forgot his first name. I can't believe it, but he's a smart, brilliant guy that debates with the MAGA jerks or whatever. And it's like this. There was an African American MAGA guy, and he was like. He was asking questions and he was like, I don't care about this. I don't care about that. Oh, as long as they don't hurt my daughters, I don't care. And he was like, well, you know what? The orange guy got caught doing, right? You know what he got accused of doing, right? Blah, 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 whatever. And he was like, as long as it's not my daughters, I don't care. And he was just like, so what about like so other women you don't care about? It's not my family, it's not my daughters. Then see, and that's a lot of MAGA. That is so like a lot of MAGA, they're very selfish. Because now let's look at the farmers. Because okay, yeah, just be patient with me because with the farmers, they were so excited to vote the bigot way, to vote the racist way. Some of them are going to say, I'm not racist. We were like family when it comes to their Hispanic employees. We're like family. Oh, we're together. Oh, no, you voted against them because you didn't listen to the orange. Like, and see a lot of people, while being selfish and ignorant and only thinking about themselves, they had clogged ears. They were just praising their orange guy so much that they didn't really like they didn't hear 20 million being deported. They didn't hear that. And even with during interviews, people were in I remember this there was a one guy, he had like a milk farm, I believe, and he said if the orange guy comes and gets his immigrants workers that he would be done for. And I think he said 2 or 3 days. I know, I'm pretty sure it was less than a week. And they were like, days? He was like, yes, days. I wonder how he's doing now. And then, oh yeah, Carrie Underwood, yeah, it's like that girl. Oh, I never. See, and that's the thing. I know I have great taste in musicians because a lot of the people that are in their little situationships, like, cause even Snoop Dogg, it's like I already talked about him or whatever. But Carrie Underwood, yeah, I never, yeah, I never liked her. I don't even care. Yeah, I never cared for like even American Idol. I was just like, no, I don't. And then she won. I was like, okay, congratulations, girl. But oh, something in my spirit told me she's not. In my opinion, this is my in my heart, in my spirit. Like I felt that. You can disagree all you want. I don't care. But look at what is happening now, because with her farm and stuff, now she has to go out there all day and work on the farm. And yeah, it's like, and then she went and sung for the orange guy. Yeah, it's like, I mean, people are showing, like, especially once you have money, that shows who you really are. Because are you still like, and that's one reason why, oh, I can't remember her name, but the ex-wife of the Amazon owner. Like, ooh, if I can ever interview her, if I can ever have brunch with her and everything, oh, I would even save up money so I can afford like a brunch that she would enjoy. I don't know what kind of food, but I'm like, hey, it would be my honor. Let's go, let's eat, let's like get, a mimosa and stuff like that. Like, that's my kind of girl right there. But back to the subject, back to the subject and everything, because when it comes to even now the Supreme Court, and now it seems like we're going to have to get the green books soon, and then sundown towns, because now they're having the whites only towns, and they're probably going to legalize that, because just look at what the Supreme Court keeps doing. And it's like, but you also have to remember the Republicans, they did their best, because President Obama was supposed to have one of those judge seats. And the Republicans are like, no, 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 it's too late. It's too late for you. It's too close to the election. But then the same situation happened with the orange guy. It was really close to the elections. All of a sudden, the Republicans are like, no, no, we're going to rush it. We're going to force this one. We're going to get this one done, because they knew what they were doing. A lot of the bigoted, no good Republicans knew exactly what they're doing. This is their game plan. Look at Project 2025. They knew what they were doing. And so now, with them being able to just pull people over because of the color of their skin, the the 92% told you so. And a lot of people, like, oh, this reminds me, even when with one of my classes that I taught a couple years ago, there was one student who is like, because we were having a discussion, and some of the students were asking, why won't I have a picture of my face on my book and stuff. And it's like, especially, I already go through enough racism and enough hatred and stuff. I don't want to just invite, like, okay guys, I'm ready for more racism, look. It's like, no, I'm not going to do that. It's like, if they're going to do that, they're going to have to look me up. They're going to have to go to my website, and if they go to my website, that like helps my SEO. So hey, go do that. Do some homework. Try, put some effort in it. If you're gonna troll me, put some effort in it, baby. Okay, but I'm gonna warn you, if I catch you doing it and stuff, I'm gonna post it. It's like, you see, I have this channel, and I'm gonna tell on you. I'm gonna post it. I'm not dumb. Okay, okay. But anyway, I just think it's frustrating and sad, because now we have a Supreme Court that's allowing this, and it's getting now, like, some people, or I even met, like, the student a couple years ago had the nerve to say, racism is over with, so why don't you get over it? One of the same students who originated calling me Professor Cripple and Professor Disabled and Professor Handicapped. And yeah, he didn't want to call me by my real name. And then, yeah, so did a couple other things too. And even when I told the dean about this, they didn't care. They didn't do any actions or anything like that. They didn't care. So, but yeah, it's like, when people want to talk about, we don't need DEI and all this other stuff, yes, you do. You guys are just so ignorant, especially a certain demographic, especially able-bodied, straight white men. They have no idea. They have no idea. Yeah. And majority of the students who called me that or did that, majority, because yeah, the main one is Middle Eastern, believe it or not. Believe it or not, yeah. Yeah, but anyway, because oh yeah, I'll tell that full story maybe in another year and everything, but yeah, trying to teach Generation Z just some of the things that Generation Z says, especially the males. A lot of them don't think anything of women. And so that's one reason why a lot of them are incels now. That's why a lot of them are having such a terrible time dating, is because I don't like, part of the blame is generation is millennials and Generation X, because like some of them raised them up, and then especially with technology, it's like they didn't pay attention to what their sons listened to, and now we got Joe Rogan and that the Prime owner is like, oh yeah, back to the subject of it, because even the guy that has that Prime Energy drink or whatever, but it's like finding out that he's not really the originator or creator of it. There's two people that own majority of it, but it's like since Jake, I think he's Jake Paul. I know there's two of them or whatever, but the one that's the boxer one or whatever, yeah, it's like since he has such a known face, and especially YouTube, and the demographic fits those demographics or whatever, he like they pretended, and oh, and with the wonderful superpowers of pronouns, because yeah, with we, the powerful word of we, he was able to hide the fact that he wasn't the originator of the product. But yeah, yeah, a lot of information there. Or well, there's so much information with that one, but I don't. That's not the exact topic. But it, the interesting part with him though, remember when he had that long? I think it was about an hour long. I think actually it was over an hour long, when he was saying why you guys needed to vote for the orange guy and how the orange guy isn't racist. And then, oh, Amber Rose. Yeah, I was like, when I first started this episode, I was like, oh yeah, hold up, what's her name? And I had to look up. It's like Kanye West's list of girlfriends or whatever, because I was like, okay, I need to find. But yeah, once I saw the Rose part, I was like, yeah, that one, her. It's like she was on that stage and asking the question, like, it's like, has he ever done, like, I can't quote her, but she was like basically asking, has he done anything racist? I asked my dad, and I was like, girl, she disgusts me. Her and Jake Paul, they both disgust me, because they they encouraged us, they helped us, and part of, oh, I was like, I also want to know, like, okay, if since Jake Paul was on Team Orange or Team Tangerine, what about the other guy who he partnered with, the Prime drink that was part of the face of the drink? Who did he vote for? And right now, is he happy and thankful that Jake Paul did that speech? Is he happy he did that little speech? Does he? Oh, because does he live in America? Because I know, I believe, like Jake Paul moved out of America, especially since to make sure he didn't have to pay. Or I no, it's not. I don't have the evidence, but I've heard on other streamers' channels, I've heard from other YouTubers and things, that part of the reason was probably so he didn't have to pay any of the American taxes and things like that. It's just rumors. That's a rumor. Okay. Okay. But I really want to know, with that African American guy that he partnered with, is he happy he did that speech? Does he live in America right now? What's going on with him? I really want to know, because yeah, it's like now it's like, if they're in a vehicle together, especially if the black guy's the one driving, they might get pulled over. If they're shopping together and police are walking by, he might be like, quote unquote, randomly patted down. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Remember how a lot of African American men were saying this was what Kamala Harris was going to do, and how she did it in her past, even though it's not really true, because they didn't really look into the information and get the solid evidence, and also they didn't read the real history and things like that. They just heard it from. Yeah. But, anyways, yeah. How does it feel to know that the guy that you voted for ended up doing the same exact thing that you thought the other candidate was going to do. Yeah, how does that? And also, especially, she gave the warning that this stuff like this was going to happen. So yeah, she was right, right? Maybe it's none of my business, but yeah, it's kind of interesting though, and I really want to know how. I mean, at the same time, he's rich. This black guy is like, and I also hear that Kanye West and Beyonce are moving out of the country. See, when you're black and rich, you can leave. You don't have to care. You don't have to be in fear or nervous or whatever with what's going on in this country. You don't have to care at all. And I wonder, even with my bishop and the pastor, they're rich too. They're not, they can move out of the country easily and they don't have, because they have the money to do so, they don't have to care. And they would probably still do their church service virtually and ask for tithes and offering virtually. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. It's just like when you're rich and black, it's like as long as it's not you, as long as it's not you, a lot of them, that's how I feel like that's probably all they're thinking about right now. Because it's not gonna, like, especially as long as you have money, money protects you. Money is security. And that's pretty bad and disgusting and everything, but we're at that point. And I mean, there's so much more to this, but it's when now we're creating these, or not we, but they, now, okay, I'll say they, since they are creating the whites only towns, and now they are allowing to do pat downs for if you, oh, as long as you're brown, because yeah, that's the racism in it. And then also they want to teach only certain things in schools, to a point where one of the states, I think it's Oklahoma, it's like they want to do a woke check for the teachers, because you have to like be able to only teach specific way things a specific way. And then there are Republicans who even have tattoos that kind of hint at white supremacy. And it's getting pretty bad and disgusting out there. And there's so many other things. I've talked about it in other episodes. So it's like, go check out my River of Racism episodes. And there's others too that I wish I put River of Racism in the titles, but I didn't. But it's just to a point where what's going to happen next? What's going to happen next? That is, I think that's going to be a very interesting question, and something that we all need to be concerned about. Or at least, okay, MAGA's not concerned because they're applauding this. Remember, it's like there was that one video where that woman was applauding and saying she was happy and laughing at the fact that people were being deported. And then also when it comes to when the orange guy said that he thought the people from the inner city, also known as black people, were going to go and work on the farms. And then even before that, he said that the disabled communities and people of color, or what, like certain demographics, could work on the farm. He meant this. He meant it for a reason. He said it all for a reason, but people weren't listening. And it's frustrating and annoying. And it's just like one thing. And then also, you're deporting all of these people, but at the same time, you're going to welcome with kind of like with bells on, bells and whistles, almost like a group of white Africans in this country. And then you're going, like, the way that they flip flopped and turned around the reality of what's really going on in Africa, and just say, no, they're in danger. They're in, like, no, 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 they weren't. Stop lying. Because even the president of, like, yeah, one of the leaders of Africa, I believe it was South Africa, but even he was just like, no, they're not. Why are you lying? It's like, it just didn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense at all. Thank you so much for listening to the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. I am a woman, I am of color, and I am handicapable. But most importantly, I am human and you're human too.